Welcome to episode 1 of the Ready for More podcast. Today we're going to talk about busting the shoulds. Welcome to the Ready for More podcast, where we share success strategies and stories for women business owners, entrepreneurs who are ready for more for yourself and for your business. I'm your host, Heather Cameron, and I'm here to help you to discover your unique path to profitability and success so you can achieve your more on your own terms. Are you ready for more? You can find today's show notes and links at www.igniteyourmarket.com/readyformore. Today's episode is about the shoulds. If you were to ask me what's the one big thing that I find gets in the way of women moving their businesses forward, of growing and stepping into what they can really achieve, it's the shoulds. So what are the shoulds? The shoulds are all the things that we're listening to and that we're hearing that are telling us that we should be on Facebook 5 times a day, that we should have a profile on Instagram, that we should be creating a product or a service, that we should be everything to everyone, that we should be able to run our business, get our kids ready in the morning, get out the door, go see our parents, keep our health. It's all of these things that go, this track that runs in our heads about shoulds, and we are being shoulded to death. Now, there are 2 types of shoulds that come around. They're the shoulds that come from exterior people, and then there's the shoulds that come from within us. And both of them have to be confronted. So it's not that when people are giving us advice about what to do, which I will do on this podcast, it's not that that's bad advice. It's whether it is a thing that we look at and we evaluate and we make a decision that we want to implement it, or whether it's something that we just feel this heavy weight of a should on us and we think, yes, we should be doing this. And yes, this is something that we need to get out and put out. And it takes us away from our focus. I so often see somebody focused on something and they're getting momentum where they're going, and then someone tells them they should do something, or they tell themselves they should be doing something, and it pushes them off. And one of the things I really want to empower you to do is to really challenge them. Challenge the shoulds and replace the word should with do I want to. And that really makes a difference on how we do that. So one of the things that I have for you today and is available on my website, it's called a Should Buster. And it's available at www.igniteyourmarket.com/shouldbuster. It'll be in the show notes as well. And this is just a really simple tool. It's not earth-shattering by any means, but it's a really simple tool to evaluate something that comes at you or some should that's coming through your mind and say, yeah, is this really a should, or is it something that really doesn't apply to me? So for example, let's say the should is you need to be on Instagram. So everybody's telling you Instagram's the hottest place out there and you need to be on Instagram. And you should be on Instagram. That's what you need to be doing. You should be there. And you're like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I'm overwhelmed. Stop. So the first thing you need to do with that is to say, is this a want for me? Do I want to be on Instagram? Is it something I see valuable for my business? So that's the first level of is this a want? And there's a number of questions that you can ask yourself to really help challenge that should. Is it something you want to do? And be honest with yourself. Do you want to do it, or do you feel like you have to do it, or you should be doing it? So if the answer is it's a want, great. That's really important to know. Is it on message? So is it cohesive message with your products and your services and your brand? Because sometimes what sounds like a good idea just doesn't really fit in with the direction that you're taking your business. And just because it's a good idea, it doesn't mean it's a fit for where you are at this moment. Can you see how it relates to your business growth? So for example, with Instagram, can you actually see that going onto Instagram and creating Instagram stories is going to relate to the growth of your business? So the answer is yes, great. If no, then you might need to evaluate it a bit more, but it's also something to take into consideration. Does it align with your business direction? So is Instagram going to align with how you want to take your business in the next 6 to 8 months? Right? So good questions to ask yourself. But the most important one is it a want? Can you translate that should to a want? Or is it, no, I really don't want to do this? And if it's no, I really don't want to do this, then your should buster is, no, it's not for me. And let it go. Move on. Pack that should away and say, no, this isn't for me. Now, the second step in the should buster is, because when you translate something from a should to a want, it doesn't mean that you want or need or have the time to do it right now. And that's the important part. If the should is right for you, is it right for you now? Does it contribute to the goal that you're trying to achieve in the next 90 days? Do you have the bandwidth to add it to your plate now? So one of the things to look at is, will you be sacrificing something more important than what you're working on now, right? So is this should, I want to be on Instagram, using that as an example, is that something that fits in the next 90 days? What's going to have, if you don't have the bandwidth, what's going to have to be given up to put that in there? And the answer typically is, when I challenge clients with that, is that although it's a should, and it's turned into a want, I want to be on Instagram, it is a want, but it's not right now. And that's an important thing to get there. It's to say, yes, I want to be on Instagram. I think that's an important direction for my business. But right now, I'm laser focused on what I'm trying to accomplish in the next 90 days. And I am going to push being on Instagram out by 3 months. And it's going to be there. I'm going to schedule. It's going to be in my horizon. But I'm not going to put energy towards it that's taking away energy from something that I really need to focus on right now. And that's the simplicity of my should buster. So the should buster is really about giving you that moment of clarity, that moment to sit down and say, is this should a want? Is this should something that I want and need and believe in for my business? And if it is, then is it something that I need to do now? Or is it something that I will schedule for 2 to 3 or 4 months down the line? If I do it now, what's the cost to do it now? What am I giving up? Because there's only a finite hours in the day. What am I giving up? And that's part of what the should buster is all about. Now, the shoulds that come from within us can often be about, observing what someone else is doing and thinking that we should be doing that. We should be everything. And I think that's where that challenge of want comes in again. If our brain is telling us that we should be working 40 hours a day, and it's just not realistic with the demands that we have in our life, there's a time to challenge that and to say, no, yes, I want to be working 40 hours a day, but I can't work 40 hours a day because something else is here. So I have to give up on that should and say, I'm going to be working 30 hours a week. I think I said 40 hours a day. Let's change that to a week. I'm going to be working 30 hours a week, and I am going to laser focus those 30 hours. And I'm not going to beat myself up because that other 10 hours is going to life important things that are going on in my life, and I'm going to focus on those. I'm going to get rid of the pressure I'm putting on myself by dictating that I should be working 40 hours a week. And I'm going to say I'm going to be working 30 hours a week, but I am going to be so focused during those 30-hour weeks. And that's what I want for you. I want you to challenge whenever you hear the word should in your brain. I think it is the biggest derailer of success for women. I think we have this habit of, remember the commercials where the women did everything. They went to the job, they bring home the bacon, they cleaned the house, they did that. It's just not realistic. And we've got this kind of expectation that we put on ourselves. And then there's the expectation about all the things in our really fast-paced, evolving business environment that internet and social media have created. There's so many more shoulds coming. And I see so many entrepreneurs not focused on the business building, profitability things that they can do. And they're being pulled left, right, and center. And we'll be talking about this in further episodes. They're being pulled left, right, and center to focus on something that's not giving them a good value of return for the time and energy they're putting into it. And it's not keeping them focused. And the result of that is that people who are listening to them, people who are looking at their marketing, aren't following the thread because the focus isn't there. I really want you to challenge your shoulds and to think about, is it a want? Is it a need? Is it a will do in the future? And again, very simple tool that I have online for you at www.igniteyourmarket.com/shouldbusters is your ability to just take a moment, answer the questions, walk it through, and decide whether a should is for you now, a should is for you in the future, or no, it's just not for you, and put it to bed. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Ready for More podcast. You can find today's show notes and links at www.igniteyourmarket.com/readyformore. My name is Heather Cameron. I'm your podcast host. And when I'm not hosting this podcast, I'm busy working with entrepreneurial women like you who are ready for more in their business and are looking to get focused on their own unique path to success. You can find more about myself and my programs at www.igniteyourmarket.com. If you like what you heard, feel free to rate, review, and share with your friends. And don't miss an episode by subscribing. Until next time, remember, now is the best time to focus on your more and be inspired by your own unique gifts.